So anyway, so today's topic, if we can actually believe that we're almost out of time, and I haven't even gotten to that part yet, but there's a story in Mark 2 that I would like to share real quick with you guys. And I'm just gonna paraphrase it. I'm not gonna read it because anyway, basically it's a story of there's this guy who's paralyzed that's been living on this mat for I don't know how many years, and these four friends. Now, what's really cool about this story that I've realized that I could be wrong, but I think I've read it a couple times. That in this story, it doesn't say how long these guys were friends with this guy on the mat. They could have known him a couple days. They could have known him 18 years. They could have known him all his life. It doesn't really say how long they've known this guy. But these four friends heard of this guy named Jesus who could heal people. And he was in this house preaching, just teaching the people that had come to listen to him. And these four guys immediately knew that this guy needed help, that this guy needed Jesus to, to help him in this need, to help him walk again. These guys had enough faith in Jesus. I don't even know if they met Jesus. I don't even know if they'd ever heard him speak. I don't know how they knew, but they knew that this guy needed Jesus, and that the only way this guy was going to walk again was them getting him to Jesus. So each guy grabbed a corner of the mat and carried this guy. And to me, it just makes me think of all the firefighters out there that have to go through their testing where they have to carry this 160-pound guy across so many feet and drag him with full gear on, and how tired and exhausted they are when they're done. I mean, and these guys are professionals. These guys who are trained for this. I don't know what these guys look like or how big or strong they were. I just know that these were four guys who picked up each one picked up a corner of this guy's mat and carried him. I don't know how long they carried him, but it had to have been exhausting by the time they got there. And of course, when you show up late for anything, as usual, there's no good parking. You drive around, you drive around, you drive around, you drive around, you hope maybe somebody will leave. Maybe somebody will leave. Of course, when they got there, nobody had left because Jesus was just such a powerful figure then that people, even if they didn't believe in him, were curious about him enough to come listen. And so these guys did not give up at that point. They did not just leave him on the sidewalk and hope that Jesus would come out and walk by him. These guys still knew he had a need that needed to be met. So they didn't push through the crowd. They didn't say, "Excuse me, I need to get to Jesus." They did something that was very profound. I'm sure that even shocked Jesus. They said there's only one way to get this guy to Jesus, and that's through the roof. That's crazy to me. That's crazy that they had the ingenuity back there and the mindset to do whatever it took to get this guy to Jesus, to get his need met. So I don't know how they did it. They got up there, cut a hole through the roof, figured out some kind of a conveying system, a conveyor, literally lowered this guy in front of Jesus. Now, can you imagine the crowd in the room? They all of a sudden start hearing this chopping on the roof. Jesus keeps on speaking. The sun starts to break through. Jesus keeps on speaking. All of a sudden, this guy starts lowering down. They just didn't toss this guy in there. They came up with this pulley system somehow, and I don't even know how they would have done it back in those days. I mean, it was amazing the ingenuity and the engineering that went into this thing. It was just crazy. So they started to lower him, and as they lowered him, Jesus kept on talking till the guy laid in front of Jesus, and Jesus looked down at him, and then he looked up at the roof and he saw these four guys, probably at this point, out of breath, struggling for air because it's in the Middle East. It's hot as dickens there. It's like 100 degrees at 3 o'clock in the morning there. So I'm sure it was very hot. You know, they were probably weary from the weather, from the travel. And he said to them, which is very profound, because of your faith, this man is healed. Because you took the time to bring him, because you took the time to chop the roof, because you had the faith to lower him down, this man is healed. And he got up, picked up his mat, and walked. Now that's amazing. And to me, in a nutshell, that's what we as men and we as Christian brothers should be doing for each other. We should be going out and finding that guy who has a need and needs to get to Jesus, and pick up a corner of his mat and say, come on, let's go, guys. Let's do it. You know, these images and these videos of all these guys, you know, carrying people and carrying, you know, people on blankets, and when storms arise and earthquakes happen and tragedies strike, and how people are, you know, grabbing people and rushing them to ambulances and rushing them to the hospital, because these guys know that these guys have a need because of an injury, and they know where to go. They're not going to pick them up, somebody who's hurt, and they're not going to pick them up and take them to the supermarket. You know, they're going to pick them up and take them to the hospital, where they know that there's skilled professionals, people who have trained for years, that can help them with their injuries, with their needs. These four brothers, they knew what the need was, and they knew how to get the need met. And once they got there, they weren't going to let the struggle of the situation deter them from getting to the end result, which was getting this guy to Jesus. And so I just implore all of us that when we see a need in somebody's life, no matter what it takes, we got to get them to Jesus. We got to pick up a corner of their mat and carry it. And the journey may be long, the journey may be hard, and when we get there, there may be no way to get to Jesus that looks conventional. But if we gotta chop the roof and lower this guy down on a conveyor belt, that's what we gotta do. And we gotta seek these guys out. There's so many people in this world struggling and hurting. I see it every day that I'm out there. Every day I see people struggling and hurting. Every day I try to reach out to somebody and talk to them and help them in any way that I can. So we got to do it. We got to do it. That's the only way this world is going to get better, is if we start caring for one another and start loving each other. I love it. This guy on that I saw today, he had this gray shirt that says, "United we stand, divided we fall." And that's exactly how it is. I mean, could you imagine if these four guys picked up each corner of the mat, and one guy started going left and the other guy started going right, and one guy started going forwards and the other guy started going backwards? I mean, this poor guy would be going in circles. But they knew the direction that they needed to go, and they were not going to let anything deter them from getting to their end goal, and that was to see their friend healed. And because of their faith, their friend was healed. Can you imagine the joy that the guy felt after he's healed? I mean, I'm sure he's probably a little like, what are you doing? Why are you chopping the roof? You know, don't drop me down this hole. Y'all better not drop me. I can understand that he probably had a little bit of fear in him. But it wasn't his faith that made him well. It was the faith of his friends that made him well. So we've got to use our faith in Jesus, that he is the great healer and the great deliverer, and that knowledge that he's given us. And we need to go out into the world and find people who are struggling and hurting and have sickness and addictions and illness and things that are going on in their lives that we may ourselves have experienced and have gotten. Somebody has led us to Jesus, and Jesus has delivered us from that. And say, okay, now I'm going to go out and find somebody else that is walking in the same predicament I am, because now I have the answer. I know where to go. I know how to get you there. And brother, if the parking lot's full, we will find a way to get in there. If the gates are locked, we will go through a window. If the windows are all barred up, we'll climb to the top of the building and cut the roof in, and we will lower you down, brother. We will do whatever it takes. We are getting in that room. And that's the mentality that I want us to really start to get. And so I just pray that God will begin to use us even this weekend to find mats to grab and to carry to Jesus. Because like I said, the world is hurting. The world is dying. I know I've shared the story on the show, and I'm going to end with this story because it's just such a profound story to me. It keeps me going when I'm really in times of struggle, in times of doubt, and it just keeps me pressing on because somebody did that for me, a guy named Sam Laws, and I want to do that for as many people as I can. This guy's walking down the street and he falls into this humongous hole. The walls are smooth. There's no way to get out. Trapped. Somebody walks by. Says, hey man, can you help me out? The guy says, no, I'm sorry, I can't. Keeps on going. Another guy walks by. Hey man, can you help me out? Do you have any rope or a ladder or something? I'm stuck down here. And the guy says, no man, I'm sorry, I don't have anything. Keeps on going. Well, along comes one of his very good friends. And he says, hey man, I've fallen down here and there's no way out. Do you have any rope or a ladder or anything that can help me get out of this? And the guy immediately jumps into the hole. Now this frustrates the other guy. He's like, great, now we're both down here. So he asks the guy, he says, how come you jump down here? Now we're both stuck. He said, contrary, my friend. He said, I know it may look like we're both stuck down here, but let me tell you, I have fallen in this hole before, but I've found a way out. And I want to show you how to get out of here. The guy was so frustrated about being in the hole that he didn't see the door behind him. It took his buddy, who had already been in that hole, who had found the door, who had been delivered from the hole, to help his friend realize there's always a way out. Always a way out. No matter what hole we're in, that we find ourselves in, there's always a way out. And so I just want to leave you with that. I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you again for sharing. Once again, like I said, I'm going to put Megan's video on my Facebook page here in a second. If you'd like to go over there and listen to it again, or share it, and tag people who I know this is absolutely going to bless. I would love for you to do that. I would love to see this thing go viral, because I just think she has just such a, you know, powerful, powerful, powerful moment in this that it's just going to touch so many lives. I know it's touched my life. It, like I said, it wrecked me. I cried for a long time, because it's just, you know, you don't ever want to see any of your friends going through this stuff. Cancer sucks. It sucks bad. But, you know, but when you can see somebody rejoicing in that moment and finding ways to pull themselves closer to God, because they've made a determination that their love and trust and God is going to be greater than their fear in the cancer. That's powerful, people. When you can put love and faith over sickness and fear, that's just a powerful moment, because that's telling the devil, you're not going to win this time. You're not going to win. And that's all he wants to do. He wants to win. And his win is costing us our life. And God wants to restore our life, either here or on the other side. And whatever that looks like, it's going to be a glorious moment when he does. So, I'm going to go ahead and play this Michael W. Smith song again as we close. Thank you again for tuning in on Facebook Live, here on the internet at WRFE.net. And also here locally at 104.5. Remember, here at East to West, we love you. We pray that God just meets you in just a mighty way this weekend. Once again, go out and make a stranger a friend, but more importantly, don't make a friend a stranger. Go out, and if there's a struggle between you and a brother, go resolve it. Life is too short. Life is too short to hold grudges with each other. Go out and find people who have a need. Help them find where that need can be met. Hey Chris, how you doing, Tex? Thanks for tuning in, guys. Once again, have a great weekend. Go out and try to find somebody you can bless this weekend. Help show them to the one true healer. Love you guys.